Hello there, what's up guys? In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create an e-commerce website in this tutorial. So now look at this video here. I've just created a website here, which is an e-commerce website, and yeah, it is a music website. So it's a music store website, but basically it's an e-commerce website. So let's just look at the functionalities or what are the different aspects we find in this website. So now the first thing you can see here, this is just the landing page, and within the landing page we have this title, as you can see, and then we have this cool navbar, which has the home, products, about, and contact. Then we have the three cards which showcases the products, as you can see, then the price of each item that is being sold out here, and then we have this button which has the buy now uh, uh, button, that is keywords, and then the footer here. So this footer, as you can see, it has this social media and then quick links and then the copyright and so forth. Now when you go to products, sorry. Okay, so now on the products, as you can see, now this is the products page. So the products, basically, it showcases all the products that we have within this website and then their prices as well. And then we have the add to cart, which basically will add you to the cart page. So now when I click on this button here, it should take me to the cart page, which shows, for example, if you have selected to buy a particular products, you'll be taken to the checkout. Uh, you'll be taken to the cart page, and then the cart page should be now this one here, as you can see. So this is what we have, and then basically what will happen is that depending on the number of products you have selected, there will be a total that will be calculated, and then you'll be now taken to the checkout page, which should be checkout page should be this one here. So this is the checkout page for the product that you have selected together with the price. Now this is just front end only, so there's no back end, but taking such a template like this, you can implement the back end yourself using whichever language you want to. So the this is the checkout page. So what else do we have? We also have the about page. So the about page just showcases more about the website, and as you can see, this is the website. This is the about page, and then we also have this cool nav footer. And let's go to the last one. So the last one is the contact page, and the contact page basically what it has this um, contact template, as you can see, and then the submit button. Now this website is also responsive in all ways. So as you can see here, the website is responsive in so this particular contact page can span uh, well in all the devices, as you can see here. So we have this, and then we have that navbar. So if we go to the home page, the same case here, as you can see. So this one is responsive in whichever way. So this is responsive depending on which screen the website is being viewed on, as well on the product, as you can see. It's also responsive. We also have the about page. So the also about page is also responsive depending on which um, size that you are viewing, device that you are viewing the website. It's responsive. We also have the about, and then lastly the contact, which I've already shown. On the contact, we also have when we go to the products, we also have the add to cart. So add to cart, and then as well as the checkout page, which should be this one, which is also um, responsive. So guys, so let's get started. As I show you how to make such a website, it's very simple. So it's just simple. So we are going to do this one quickly, and then we also have the logo. You can also make a customized logo and place it within your website. All right, guys. So let's get started. All right, guys. So now let's get started. So currently, I've opened my VS Code, and within my VS Code is empty. So what you're going to do here, you're going to create um, you're going to create an e-commerce uh, website. So basically here, I want you to come here and create an e-commerce um, music website like that. And then using your VS Code, you're going to open that particular folder. So this is the folder, and then we're going to open that folder there. So basically, you're going to begin by creating the navbar, as you can see, and then other features as you continue. Now here, I have um, I have the Bootstrap. You can go for the latest one, which is basically now here. You can come here and search for the navbar that you want to create. So basically, here we have different navbars. So here, this is one of the navbar that you're going to create. So the navbar I'm going to create is basically similar with this one. As you can see, this navbar is the one that is presented for you here, and basically it's still the one that you can see here. And then we customize some of the things. So just come to this website and then begin with this one here. If you're following along, so basically here I'm going to have index.html like that, and then within the index.html, holding my shift and the exclamation mark, I'm going to have that. So basically here, so here is where I'm going to have the navbar like that, and then the navbar is the one that I'm going to have. So basically this is what I'm having. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this one, or in other words, I'm going to copy the one that I already have and then customize some of these things, as you can see. So let me just do this. So basically this is the navbar I'm having. So what I've just done here is just basically to copy this navbar, as you can see, and then I've changed some of these things, such as the setting the navbar to fixed top, and then the navbar light will still be the same, and then so basically all this you can find it here. So I've just added the navbar fixed top, and then the other ones remain the same, and then these ones I've just changed them from the previous ones that you can see here to mine. So we have home, products, about, and then the contact, and then the respective pages that we have. So that is on the navbar. So the next thing here I'm going to have is the digital products. So under the digital products, you are um, going to have this section like that. So under this section, we are going to have now what are the digital products. So basically, what we have in here is what you can see here. So basically, we have the welcome music store, and then this cool now heading, as you can see here, is a box shadow, and then the three cards, as you can see. So basically here I'm going to have, so the first thing I'm going to have here is I'm going to create a div, and then this div is going to have a container. So the container, we are going to set it to fluid. Fluid means that match the it's going to match the size of the container of my website. So the margin top, I'm going to set it to 5. So that is what we have. And then basically here we have the div class container, which is going to contain the title. So I'm going to set it title container like this. And then the container, I'm going to set it the title of my website. So it's going to be welcome to our music store. So we are going to have something like that. Now, okay, so that is what we have in. Now here I need to have the bootstrap imported here in my so just below the title here, just need to create the something like this. So we are going to have styles. Then within styles here, I'm going to have so come here and then look for the CDN of this bootstrap. So this is what I have. So I have this one. I have the bootstrap template there, and then I can click on this go live just to show me what we have so far. So this is what we have. So we have the home, about, contact, and then the products, and then the title here. Okay, so let's continue. So now the next thing here should be, so let's implement the cards. So under the cards here, we're going to have a div, which is going to be div class. We're going to set it to row. So row means the left and right, and then within the rows, you're going to set the columns. So here we have div, class, and then I'm going to set the card. Sorry, not the card, but I'm going to set the column. So the column, I'm going to give it on the small screens. It should display should display a width, that is top and bottom should display 12 12 columns, and then within large screens here I want it to display the 4 columns like that. So that is what I'm going to have within that particular. So small screens 12 and then large screens 4. Now the next one is just to set the cards. So under the cards here, I'm going to have div class. Then the div class, I'm going to have card. And then this card, I'm going to give it an MB of 2. That means the the spacing in between the cards. I'm going to give it of 2, and then MB MD, and then 0. Now you can check all this within the documentation of Bootstrap because they have taught this in other words. So yeah, but that is it. And then the image, I'm going to set an image here. So I'm going to have an image of src, and then I'm going to create a folder called images like that, and then I'm going to give an image there. So let's continue. And then I'm going to give it a class. So this class, I'm going to give it, in case I want to, so that is going to be 12. And then you can also give the alt, of course. So here you can give the alt. Uh, so that is it. Okay, so here you just need to come here and create an images folder here, and then you're going to have some images which I'm going to add them later. Now the next thing here I'm going to have is the card body. So the card body, I'm going to have the card body, and then that is it. So under the card body here, I'm going to set a title within the card body. So that should be H5 class. And then I'm going to set the card title like that. And then the card title is going to say something like, the first one was Learn Piano. So that's the first product. And then within the card title, after the card title, we are going to have the card text. So the card text is going to take a paragraph. So the paragraph is going to be class. And then within the class here, we're going to have, this is going to be card text. Sorry, this is text like this. And then I'm going to close. Now here, the card text can have something like this. So this is what we having. So we have just some dummy text for the card. And now below the card, we're also going to give the price. So as you can see here in my website, we have a price for the product and then the buy now. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to give um, an heading of 6, and then I'm going to give it class. So the class is going to be card, it's going to be subtitle like that, and then I'm going to have an MB2 um, just to give a space in between, and then this is going to be text. I'm going to be text muted. Now basically that means this is going to be $sign, and then this is going to be 99.99. Then close like that. And then I'm going to have the button implemented. So we're going to have an href. So the href has it's going to have the checkout.html. Basically, this one you are going to create it, so don't worry about it. And then under the class here, I'm going to have the btn and then btn primary for the. Okay, so this one basically, as you can see, it says the buy now. Right, guys. So this is what we have so far. So we have the buy now. So this is what we have so far within our card. So we have this. So let's just check. So this is the card that will be implemented, as you can see here. Okay, so now here we need to have an image. So this image basically it was the one for piano since we're going to have. So here I'm going to add some images on this e-commerce website which I've just created. So this is the original one that I have is this one here. This is the one, sorry, not that one, but the next one should be this one. So these are the images that I'm using for my website here. So I'm just going to copy them and paste them in this place of mine here. So I'm going to have them like that. So that is what we have, so that when I come here, I have the images. So I can just import the one for piano like that. So that should be the image that we have. Right, so now this is what we have so far. And this is what we need to have created. Okay, now since I'm going to have 3 cards, as you can see here, these cards they also have the same code with this one. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to copy this up to there because this one represents the row and then the div for the class. So I'm going to copy up to there, and then I'm also going to have another one like that. All right, so now this is what we should be having. So the 3 cards should be that way. And basically here the other one, it was this lead guitar and so forth. So this is going to be lead guitar. Then this is going to be that way, and this one is going to be should be that way. So they should change. Now I can see for the piano it looks big, but this one you're going to do some styling so that they can match and be the same size, as you can see here. Okay, so now let's style this navbar. As I can see it, let's style this navbar. So what you're going to do here, you're going basically to add a CSS styles.css, or what we can do, let me just do this. Let me just create a folder called CSS, and let me drag this one there. So that is what we are going to have. And then basically what we need to have in our styles, this is what we're going to have. So I'm going to have the link, and then I'm going to have the styles. Then remember here it is yeah, so that is it. Alright guys, so in our CSS is basically cascading style sheet. So the first thing you're going to have is that we are going to set the navbar. So under the navbar, I'm going to give it a background color of blue. You can use the X code or just go. So I'm going to give it a background. So I'm going to give it a background of blue, as you can see. And then next I'm going to take the navbar. So the navbar light. So the navbar light, and then the navbar. So this is what I'm doing. So I'm setting the navbar. So I'm taking the navbar light, this one, and then the navbar brand, this one. And basically this one is the one that presents the toggle button, the one you're able to toggle your website. So I'm going to give it, so the navbar, I'm going to give it a color of RGB, which is going to be the red, green and blue. So this one I'm going to give it 255, and then this one 255, and then I'm going to give this one 255, and then I'm going to set it to be important so that it may override the Bootstrap default class. So why am I doing this? So I want it to occupy that color of the 255 so that it can change and implement on the navbar brand here. So you're going to see that one as we continue. So the navbar brand, again, I'm going to give it now I want to give the logo. Now there's a logo here, as you can see. There's this logo here. This logo is for the website, which has the big store here for this part here, as you can see it here. So I want to give that logo, and for me to give that logo here, I need to do this. So this is what I need to do. So we basically have the navbar brand, and then we have this as the. So I'm going to take this for the navbar brand, and then since the navbar brand, I want to give it the logo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first we can give it background uh, a background URL, which is going to be two dots, and then I'm going to access the images, and then I'm going to give it that uh, image like that. Now you can't see it, but it will come. So I'm going to give it a position of relative, and then I give it a width of 100 pixels, and then left I'm going to give it a negative of 25 pixels so that it can be placed on the left side. I'm also going to give it a background size of cover, then background repeat should be that one. So here I'm going to give it, so it should not repeat, and then background, I'm going to have a background of position, which should be center like that. And then here I'm also going to have the height. I'm going to give it an height of 42 pixels. Right, so basically it becomes the same as you can see here. All right, guys, so that was for the logo. You may want to style it however you want. So let me go to the links. So here I'm going to access the navbar links. So that should be this one here. So the navbar link, so that we can style this. As you can see, so far they are black and we don't need that. So I'm going to, let's go to the navbar link, and then I'm going to give them a color of white, which basically should be the hashtag. And then I'm going to make it important so that you can override the default bootstrap class. So it's going to be that way. Okay, so let's also make an hover so that when somebody hovers, it will be something uh, looking good. So I'm going to set the number, then I'm going to have a hover here, which is going to be color. I'm going to set the RGBA, the RGB, sorry, the RGBA. So the RGBA stands for the red, green, blue, and then the alpha. So the alpha sets the tone for that particular effect that you want to apply within your website. So here I'm going to set 233, 223. So if you don't know about this, you may want to go also and check it out within the Bootstrap documentation. So the alpha, I'm going to set it 81 like that, and then this is going to be, and then I'm also going to set something called transition, so that the transition of color with the 0.3s should be this one, then it should be is, so that when you hover over them, they will be presented with an is. So that is what we have. So when I hover over them, there's a styling I need to create. So let's just continue, and then I'll show you. So to be, now this one is so uh let's continue. So let's go to the navbar, the navbar the navbar light, and then I access the navbar toggle. So what we have here, we have the navbar light. So we have the navbar light here, and then I'm accessing the navbar toggler. So the navbar toggler basically is what you can see here. So what you can see here, this is the navbar toggler. Then we also have hours so far. It is going to work. So what I'm going to do within the navbar toggler here, I'm going to set it a color of RGBA. Then I'm going to give it a 0, 0, and then the 0.5, and then I'm going to give it a border. So the border color is going to be RGBA. Then I'm going to set it to the same, and then I give it an important. Okay, so this the color is black, and then I'm going to set it to important. So the navbar toggler will have that particular styling. So it has a border, and then the toggler we have given it that. Now for this navbar to work, I need to add a Bootstrap JS class somewhere here. So this one, you just need to get it from Bootstrap itself. So let me just get it quickly. So what we have here is we have something like this. So we have add Bootstrap JS, and adding the Bootstrap JS is what we have. So basically just defines the JavaScript and then the Bootstrap main.js so that it will enable me to apply this particular styling. For example, now you can see you can toggle this, as you can see. Right, guys, so this is it. Okay, on our styling, so now let me style this H1. There's this H1 here, so that you can see it's not looking like ours here. So what I need to do here, I need to come here, and then I need to add an H1 like that. So the first thing I'm going to have is text align. I'm going to give it center. I'm going to give a color of sorry, it should be black, and then I'm going to give a font size of 3 rep. Then I'm going to give it a font weight. So the font weight is going to be of bold, and then margin bottom should be that one there. Then this should be 2 rem. So that is it. So let's see what we have so far. Okay, not looking bad. Not looking bad. So I'm also going to, so that was just the H1. Now I'm going to take the title container, which is within the div class, and then I'm going to add some styling on it. So here I'm going to have the title should be the title container. So here I'm going to set it position of relative. Now when you talk about positions, basically position relative is you're setting this relative to where it is. For example, it can move either top, bottom. Yeah, it should be top, bottom, or even left and right. So that is it. And actually, it's very important that you know it if you don't know it, because it's going to help you very much in your front end. So I'm going to set this one to 25 pixels. So it means on the bottom is going to be 25 pixels. And then I'm going to give it a padding of 1 rem. Then that is top, left, top, bottom, and then left, and then right. Now you can see we also have a box shadow when you look at the original one here. So let's do that as well. So let me set a box shadow that should be of 0.5 pixels, 10 pixels, and then I'm going to set the RGB here, which should be this, and then I'm going to give this, so let me give us some spacing, and then I'm going to set 0. So this should be 3 of them, and the last one should be, so that is it. So the box shadow is going to be that. So let's just check. So yeah, so and then there's that font which you're going to, so that is the box shadow that I've just given. Okay, so as you can see there's a font, so let's access this font. Now for you to access this font, what you need to do here, you need to look for this font. I have it somewhere. Now that font, you can get that font on going to Google Fonts. So going to Google Fonts, you will you'll get the font that that I'm using here. So basically, the font that I'm using here is under here. It is called so just come here and look for the font that you want. So there are different font. So the one I'm using is called Lobster, be Lobster something. Yeah, so this is the font that I'm using here, and you can see it is matching what we have here. So you may want just to come to this website and then grab this particular font. So I already have it here. So what I'm going to do, or what you need to do here, you just need to come here, and then down here, you just need to come and set it that way. So get the font and then set it that way. And then now, where do you want to apply the font? Of course, I want to apply it on the H1. So on the H1 here, I'm going to give it a font family like this, and then the font family here is going to be Lob. Let me see, do we have it already? So this should be the font. Okay, let me just type it. So the font here is Lobster. So we have it like that, and then cursive. So that is the way to, so let's see if the font, yeah, so this should be it. I don't know why this is too bold, so we will check that out. But anyway, that is the font that I'm using. So that is the font that I'm using. Okay guys, so all right, so the font weight here, I think we can set it to semi-bold. Let me just see. So font weight here, we have different. Okay, let's try 400, I think. Okay, we'll just go with that one, but it is you to edit and make sure it's coming the way it is. Now let's style up this card, and let's prevent this. So here, let's go to the card now section now. So under the card section, so we are going to set it a width of 100%. I'm going to give it an and height. This height is going to be 40 variant height, or 40, and then I'm going to give it an object fit so as to position it to cover. Before that, sorry, this is not okay. So we have the card. Sorry, this is for the, this is setting the card image, top. That's, so here we have for the card, it should be this way. So here we have margin, bottom like that. So the margin bottom here is of 1 rem. So the margin bottom for the card, and then the image card top is what we are going to set it like. Okay, so you can see now they are positioned with each other. Okay, so the next item we're going to have is now when you look at my, let's try to go to the responsiveness of the website. You can see here, this one is not looking the same way as this one here. For example, this one should be, this should be the size of the text when viewed on the mobile. So I want us to set that one. You can see this one is too big. So what I'm going to do here, let's go to media query. So I'm going to use a media query. I'm going to say at medium. So this is max. So the max width, I'm going to set it to, that is at max width. That simply means up to this size of the screen device, this and below. So that is what it means. So this and below, I'm going to set this to, I'm going to grab the title container, and then I'm going to grab the H1 like this, and then I'm going to give it a font size. Sorry, should be, so I'm going to give it a font size of 1.5 rem like that. So what it's going to do is going to set this one to 1.5 rem. As you can see now, they are matching, so that on a mobile device, this is how it will be viewed. Yeah, so that is it. So on different screen sizes to be that way when it is viewed. You can also set it however you want, depending on which screen device that you want to view this. Okay, so that is it. Now let's go to the footer. So here I need to create a footer for this website here. So let's do that. Let's just do that. Okay, now on the footer, I'm going to also have a section for the footer. It's good to use sections so that you can be able to differentiate different parts of your website. So here I'm going to have a footer, and then within the footer, I'm going to start with a div. So within the div here, I'm going to have a container. So the container here, basically we have a container and then we have a row within the container. So I believe you by now you understand all this. That is the bootstrap. This is the bootstrap grid system. So we have the container and then we have the row, which is basically the left to right part. And then after having the row, we now set the column. So that is the standard way of using the bootstrap grid system. So here we have, so on small screens here, I'm going to give it 4. Now this part is this. So the part I'm giving 4 is this part here. So this is going to take 4 columns. 4. So 4, 8, 12. Okay, so this is it. So this is H4. Sorry. Okay, so this is 4. So under 4, I'm going to have follow us like that, and then I'm going to set within the follow us, I'm going to have the social media, as you can see here, as you can see them here. So the social media, I'm going to give H and href, of course, which is going to be hashtag there, and then the font awesome icons that I'm going to use. So I'm going to have this class, and then the first one is for Facebook, which is F Facebook. So, and then I'm going to have this is the square like that. So yeah, so that is what I have so far. You can just copy for the other one. So I'm going to have for the next ones. So the other one is for Twitter and Instagram, and as many as you want, you can also add. So for the Instagram, it's not going to be square. It's going to be Instagram like that. Now you're not going to see the icons so far. So that is what we have. Let me see what else do we have before we go on to style. So after here, I'm going to have another div. So I'm going to have another div class here, which is going to be, so we are still going to give it the same. Remember, the column should be 12 according to Bootstrap grid system. So here I'm going to have an H4 of quick links. So here I'm going to have, let's, okay, so this is what we have, and then below it we are going to have a UL. So the UL is going to have a class like that, and then the class, I'm going to give it quick links. Right, now under here, quick links, of course you can give whatever you want. So here I'm going to give 4 like that. So here I'm going to have of course I'm going to have an href, which basically has the, so the href is that way, and then I close that one. So now within the href, the first one is home. Now instead of me having to write all this, so let me just eliminate this. Let me just copy it like that. So this is going to be about, and then this is going to be products, and then this is going to be contact. Okay, so that is what we have so far. So one more thing. So the last thing here I'm going to have is the other column for the copyright. So I'm going to have a div for the copyright. So I'm going to have this SM, and then the SM here I'm going to have the text right, which we are going to use to edit for the website. So basically here I'm having copy copyright with which is going to be big store is such. Okay, so guys, so that is what we have under the footer. So this is what we have. So basically what is remaining is just to come here and style up this. So that is it. Now let me style the footer. Let's just begin by, so here I'm going to style this like this. Okay, so that is what, so let's just begin. So under the footer here, I'm going to give it a background color of hashtag 33. I'm going to give it a color of white. Then I'm going to give it this padding. So the padding here that I'm going to give is 1 rem like that, and then 0, and then text align. I'm going to give it center, and then I'm going to give also a margin top of 20 pixel. Okay, so this is what we have. I don't know why it is behaving this way. Okay, all right, so that is what we have. So we need to do something about this. Okay, so let's continue with the footer. So I'm going to also give, let me access the anchor tags within the footer. So the anchor tags here, I'm going to give them a color of hashtag FF. It should be, and then font size, I'm going to give this font size of 1.5 rem, and then margin right, I'm going to give this as 0.5 rem. Okay, so yeah, so it's now looking something exact as this. So we are going to remove this. It's going to go away. So now here, I'm also going to give the footer an over. That is the anchor tags. I'm going to give them an over so that when you hover over them, so I'm going to give that one color of hashtag triple E like that, so that when you hover over them, they're going to be something. Now for this social media icons, I just need to import a font awesome class in this place here. So this is what I'm going to do. Now this is what so here you need to come here and then just copy and paste that. So this is for the font awesome. So basically what you need to do is let me push this one a bit. So what you need to do is you just need to come you just need to go to the font awesome and then just import this particular URL going to their website, just like I did for the Google fonts, so that when you save, they should appear as this. Now for this, so for this, so let's just access these quick links. So this, you're going to set a list list style, we're going to set it to none. Don't know why it is coming this way. Anyway, okay, as you can see, this is what we have, and then this is what we have. We can set some styling, such as you can see here for this. So when somebody hovers over them, they are represented in such a way. So how can we do that? So what we can do here, just need to add some transitions here. For example, I'm going to grab the I, then I'm going to set this to, I'm going to give it a transition of all, then 0.2 s, and then with is. Remember, you can do this however you want. So this is a fade in, fade out effect. So what we have here is fade in plus fade out effect. So this is what basically I have here. So the same thing I'm also going to have here. So you can add a slide in. So for example, you can add a slide in, slide out effect. So sorry, this should not be there. I've already said that one. So yeah, so what we have, so I'm going to add a transition. So you're going to set this transition. So I'm going to set transition to all, and then 0.2 s, and then is, like that. Okay, and then I'm also going to set a transform. So this transform, what it will do, it will add a translate. So this translate, you are going to give it a negative of 50%. And then after that, we are going to give the over, so that now when somebody hovers over it, so we're going to give this an over like this of transform. The transform is going to have the translate, which should be 0, like that. And then there's the last one here, which is called rotate, which is going to be this way. So I'm going to set the rotate for the, let's just give this a space. Okay, so under the rotate, I'm going to set a transition. So this should be transition, and then the transition is going to be all, and then 0.2 s, and then is, and then a transform of rotate. So the rotate is going to set to the 0°, like that. And then finally, under the rotate, we are going to have an over, which is going to be transform this to rotate of 45°. Okay, so let's just check. So that is what we have initially with this. You can do more on that. So it is up to you to go and try to check out on what what other features may you add? Now there's also now on the container here, on the title container, remember there's a title container. Now on the title container here, you can also add an opacity like this of 0. Can also add an opacity of 0. Sorry, should it be 0? Should be now. Sorry, this is not here. I'll show you where we need to add this. Now, let's continue. So now what we need to do here, as you can see, I also have other we also have other pages. For example, sorry, this says cannot. Okay, so we have the products page, of course. So we have the products page. So we can also set these pages here. So for example, this is creating under the CSS. So here we have product.html. We also have the about HTML. And then I also have the contact.html. I also have the cart.html. And then lastly, we have the checkout.html. Now these are the different pages that I'm having. So the first one here, okay, let's go to the product. So what I'm going to do based on the index, so we can first eliminate. So based on what we add here, just copy this code here, as you can see, up to this part here, and then apply it on the starting point of your web page. And as well, you're also going to use the same footer, so you don't need. And also, we are going to add the bootstrap JS and then the body and then the HTML. So all this is going to be the same. So what we have is only this part here. Now do this for for all the pages. So let me just do this quickly. So I've done this for all the pages. So that is what you need to do, so that now we can begin. So that means so if I can navigate here, that is what we have on the about and also on the contact. So that is what we have so far. So let's go for this one here. So under the product here, I'm going to add. So I'm going to add. So I'm going to add product cards. So I'm going to add the product card. So here, what I'm going to have here is I'm going to set this div. So div class, which is the container, which I'm going to give a margin top of this. Now here, basically this one is similar with this one here, so I don't need to do that. So what we have here is the same thing. So what we have here and here is the same thing. So title, container, and then yeah. So what we have in there is the two divs, and then here is going to say our products. So that simply means it's going to apply the same styling that we have. Okay, so this should not have been here. They should now be here. Okay, so adding the product card is very easy. So what we're going to have here, the first thing we're going to have here is the div class, whereby we are going to have the row. So I'm going to set the div row like that. And then within the div row, I'm going to add the products card. I don't know why this one now should be there. So as to add the products cards now. So I'm going to have the div class, where I'm going to have the column, small screen. I'm going to give them to display 12. And then I'm going to have for the medium screen, I'm going to have 6. And then I'm going to have for the large screen, I want them to be displayed 4, and then the space around them is going to be of 4, like that. And then we close like that. Okay, so after doing that, the other thing here we're going to have is the div class, which is going to be the card. Sorry, so this should be the card there. And then within the card, we're going to give an image. And of course, the image should be this one here. So this is what we have there. So I'm going to give that one there. And then basically the next item here is I think we having the same thing up to there. This is the same thing that I'm going to do. So I don't need to, yeah, so this is what we have. So remember, this one is just showing all the cards, all the products that you have within your website. So here I'm going to have this add to cart, and then yeah, so that's what we're going to have. Let's see so far. Okay, so this is what we have, which doesn't look exact with the previous. How many documents am I having? Should be the original. Okay, so this needs some styling. Oh, there's something wrong with the divs. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Let me push this to this side like that. Okay, so what we have here, this should be, okay, so this should be add to cart. It should be add to cart. So it is showing the product, the image, and then the price, and so forth. Now, what I'm going to do here, since we are going to have the same thing, so here, I'm also going to copy this one here, and then I'm going to paste it several times. I'm going to paste it several times. So how many cards do I need to have? These are how many now? These are 3, so I need to have 3 more. And then 3, as you can see, like that. So basically, I'm having all those cards. Let's see how they look like. Okay, so this is going to be solved. So so these divs are the ones that are causing this. So the first div that we can see here is we have 3, and then we have, so this is 1, 2. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then we have this one here and this one here. So basically what we have here on the first one should have been two divs, but then the div that is closing should be one here. So we have in three, let's eliminate one there. And then here should be having this. And then we have that. Okay, so what we have here is just trying to okay, so I don't know why this is I think I got pushed too much. So let's just have it somewhere there. Okay, it's good to arrange your code in a way that it's presentable. So okay, so that is what we have, and I think we are good to go. So the product is settled. So that is what we have. Okay, so let's go to the about us. Now on the about us, what we need to have is this. Now on the about us, we are going to add the main content. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, so adding the main content, we are going to have the first thing we are going to have is a div. So div class, and then we are going to have the container. So the container we are going to have MT5. So that is the margin top. So the margin top, we're going to set the title container. So basically this, we're going to have this like that. Okay, so this is what we're going to have. So this is going to be about our music store. So that is what we're going to have. So that is our H1, which is going to apply the same styling. Now the next part is having, let's now go to, sorry, this should be div class and then the row. So I'm going to have a div for the images. So we are going to have three images. So we are going to have a column and then a medium screen, and then I'm going to set this to 6. So it's going to take 6 columns within the website, and then I'm going to set several images within the website. So the first one I'm going to have is for example, I'm going to have 3 of them within the same 6 column place. So for example, this is going to be for bass guitar, and then this is going to be for guitar and piano. Okay, so that is what we have there. Now on this one here, we are going to have I'm going to have a div. So here I'm going to have another div, and within that div I'm going to have other 6 columns, and then within this 6 column I'm going to place a card in between. So this is going to be a card with this size MB of 4, and then within the card I'm going to have a card body and the card title. So here I have the class card body. So and then I'm also having div. So you're going to have a card title, which is going to display our story like that. And then lastly, we're going to have the paragraph. So under the paragraph here, I'm going to have the card text. So the card text here is going to have some text which I'm going to add them as we continue. Yeah, and then that's it. So now after this, so this is the part which contains. So we have the part which contains the image, and then the next 6 columns, it contains the card and then our story and then some text. Now the next one here is also going to have something that is similar. So I'm going to copy this part of code here. So I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it there, whereby we are going to have our selection. After our selection, we're also going to have some text, which I'm going to generate. Then the next one, I'm also going to have, remember it is still within the 6 columns. I'm also going to have another one here. Then this one is going to be our services. And then the footer. So that's all about it. So that is it. So that is what we have. So 2 divs and then 3 more divs. Then we are good to go. Okay, so the row presents the image. So there's one part that presents the image, and then the next part here it presents. So let me get this text here. Let me get this text. So this is what we have within our contacts, within our about page. So within our about page this is what we have. And basically, if I go to the about, this is what we should be having. Now this one needs some styling, so I'm going to do that. Our story, I don't know why it is okay. So yeah, so this is what we have within our about page. So I'm going to style this. So this is 6, this is 6. Right, so we can also add some styling within our about page. So let's just have the about page there. Then here I'm going to have, sorry, this is about. Okay, so this is, so in the about page, I'm going to have this. So I'm going to set the container. Under the about page, so the container is going to be font family. Font family is going to be Arial. It's going to be that one, and then I'm going to set the H2 to have the font size 1.75 rem. And then I'm going to set the color. So the color is going to be hashtag and then 33. And then the margin bottom, I'm going to set it to 1 rem, like that. Now I'm also going to set the image fluid. So the image fluid, I'm going to set it. So I'm going to give it a box shadow. And basically the image fluid should be this one if you're wondering. Within, sorry, this is It should be image fluid, be img and then fluid like that. Okay, so the image fluid is going to have a box shadow of 0.4 pixels and then 8 pixels RGBA, which should be of this one, and then 0.2, and then you're going to set the transition to be 0.3 seconds like that. Now we are also going to place an image img over. So when you hover over the img, should have a box shadow of 0, 8 pixels, 16 pixels, 0, and then RGBA, which should be of 0, should be that 0, and then 0.2. So basically it's still the same way, still the same as this one, but this one you have given it an image over of 16. Then yeah, so that is what we have on this. Now these images, I don't know why, so they are attached to each other. So I'm going to set this so on the image fluid. So to prevent that, I'm going to give a space of rounded. So I'm going to give this rounded, and then I'm going to give it an MB of 4, so that a spacing can be provided in between. So here I just need to come here and then update this as yeah. So this is what we are going to have. So they have a rounded feature, and then they have the over effect as we have set on our styling here, and then this is how they're going to be. So they are visually appealing and they're looking very nice. So you may want to implement this one in your website. All right, guys, so now we are through with the about and the products page. Now let's go to the contacts page and let's do something here. Now on the contacts page here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set a div here, a div class of container. Then within the container, I'm going to give that a margin top of 5. Now I'm going to give an heading of 1, which is of contact us. Now I can still use the previous one I had, or this one I just choose to ignore. So let me just use the basic just styling. So that is what we are having. So this container is for there. So that div should be downwards. Okay, so next I'm going to have is a form. So I'm going to have a form there. Now within this form, I'm going to have a div. Sorry. So I'm going to have a div. I'm going to have a div class of row, of course. So we start with the row. Now within the row, we are going to have the class of, I'm going to have this column. So small screen, I'm going to set this one to 6 rows, so it's going to have six columns, not rows, sorry, 6 columns. Then div class, I'm going to have this is form group, so the form group there. And then under the form group, the first thing we are going to have, or you are going to set, is a label. So basically a label is just whatever you want to be shown within your form. And of course the label here is going to be, the first one is going to be your name, example. And then under your name there, we are going to have input. So I'm going to have input type. The input type here, of course, is going to be text. So you're going to provide a text. And then a class, which is going to have the form control, which is going to be styled. We are going to style that one as well. So, and then the ID for the form is going to be name in case we want to style. And then lastly, you're going to have the placeholder, which says enter. So enter your name. So enter your name and so forth. So that is what we have so far. So that is within that particular section there. Now the next one we are going to have is also similar. So what I may want to do here is to grab this part here. So up to there. And then here, I'm going to have like that. I'm also going to have for the, so let's leave that one first. Let's go to this one. So this one is going to be for email. So placeholder here is going to say enter your email like that. So that is what we have in up to that part there. So your name and then your email. And then lastly, we are going to have is another div here, which is going to be form group. So the form group, I'm going to have a label. So the label is for the message. So the message, you're going to have the message like that. And then within the message here, I'm going to have a text area. So class, and then within the class, I'm going to set a form control like that. Then ID message should be rows. Then this is 3. All right, so that is what we are having. So the text area, and then here below here, I'm going to set a button pause. So I'm going to have a button, and this button is going to be button type. So the button type here is going to be submit, and then we're going to set a class. So we have submit, and then after submit, we have the class, which is of course the coming from the bootstrap, which is the btn, and then primary. So we're going to have that. And then basically here the button is going to have, I'm going to say the submit. So now this, so we have this, so we are having, sorry, here we are having another div to close this part here. because we are setting this, and then it's closing, and then we are having the form group, and then the div closing, and then the button, and then the form here. So this div here is not supposed to be there. Yeah, so guys, so that is what we have. And so what we have is only one div that is closing that part there. So that is what we have for the contact form. So this is just a basic contact form. There are so many others that you can use. So basically that is what we have under the contact form. So going to the contact form, so that is what we have. So it has taken that. Okay, so that is what we have. It's the basic contact form that you can create. Now let me go to styles.css, and then we can deal with the contact page. So let's just have the contact page. So under the contact page is what we are going to have. So under the contact page, so what we have here, the first thing we have is the div. Now here you're going to add some padding to the form. So that is what we are going to do. So I'm going to add some padding to that form there, and the padding is going to be padding. Uh, sorry, this padding is going to be 2 rem, like that. So I'm also going to set a background. So let me just comment this so that you can be able to understand. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add a background. Sorry, I'm going to add a background color to the form, and then this background color is going to be this one. It's going to be that one. And then lastly, I'm going to add some border radius. Some border radius to the form. And the border radius is going to be, sorry, so this is going to be border radius. So the border radius is going to be this one, going to be of 1 rem, like that. And we are done. So you can check. Okay, so this is what we have so far. This is what we have. So we have just added a padding, a background color, and a border radius. Now the next thing that I want us to style is the form label. So the form label, we are going to add. So we are going to add some color to the labels. And this is what I'm going to do. So here I'm going to have a color of this kind. So that is what I'm going to have. And then um, I'm going to make the labels bold. So here I'm going to have this. So here I'm going to have a font weight of bold, like that. So this is what we have. Okay, so these are the labels as you can see them. Then your message, like that. So the next item is to grab the inputs. So I'm going to grab the inputs. So the inputs are coming from so I'm going to take these inputs here. So the input I'm going to have is this, and then I'm going to have type equals to text. So input, so type equals to, so this is email, form text area. I'm going to have, so under the form text area, this is what I'm going to have. So I'm going to add some padding the input fields. Okay, so the padding is going to be 0.75 rem and then 1 rem, like that. And then lastly here, I'm going to add a border. So I'm going to add a border and some border radius. So the border radius to the input fields. So this is what I'll be having to the input fields, and this is going to be border, which is going to be 1 pixels solid, is going to be hashtag this, and then I'm going to add, sorry, was this the first one, border radius? Okay, so here we have the border radius I'm going to add, which is 0.25 rem. So the first one is border, and then the second one is the yeah. Okay, so that is it. So that is the border radius. Let's just check so far what we have. Let's just check what we have. So we have added the border radius and then the border, and you can see it is coming out. So the next part here that I want us to do is to add a margin of margin bottom. So the margin bottom is going to be of 1 rem, and then I'm also going to set the width of the input to be 100%. So make the input fields wider, and you can see as we do that, the input fields are becoming of 100%. Now the last part is the form text area. So just editing the form text area. So what we are going to have here, we're going to set an height of 10 rem, and then I'm going to set the padding to be 1 rem, like that. So that is the form text area, as you can see. Okay, there's something else. So we also have the button. So this button, looking at the one I showed you from my previous website, let's style this. So the type is equal to submit. So here I'm going to add a padding. So the padding is going to be of 0.5 rem and then 1.5 rem for. So this one basically what it does, it adds the top, bottom, left and right. Top, bottom, left and right. And then I'm going to set a color of course, white. And then I'm going to give this background color of hashtag 333 like that. And then I'm going to set a border radius of 0.25 rem and then a width of 100%. So let's see what is coming out. All right, so that is what is there. So it is able to occupy the width, and of course the form has to be responsive in every place. So it has to be responsive in every size of the device. Okay, so that is all about the about us, and I believe you are following out. Now the remaining pages are the checkout and the cart page, and that is very easy. So on the cart page here, this is what we have. So on the checkout page, this is what we are going to have. So I'm going to add main content here. So this is the part for main content. So under the main content, what you're going to have is similar. So what I'm having here basically is what I'm going to have on my cart page. So on my cart page here, I'm going to have this. Let me remove the fluid and also the content row. So we're just going to have the container and then the margin top and then the container, and then this is going to say your cart like that. So going to rate, let's say so let me access this. So this is what we have. Okay, right now. So now let's set the div. Let's begin by setting the div class row as we have been doing. Now on the div class row here, I'm going to add the product card. So under the product card there, I'm going to have, so this is just similar with what we have been doing. So this one is going to be column, and then the medium screen is going to be of 4. And then I'm going to set the M size. This is the MP4 size. I'm going to set within the cards. I'm going to have it that way. And then I'm going to have, so I'm going to have this card. Okay, so now this is the card, and then from here I'm going to have an images. So the card is just the same way it was with the other one. So what you're going to have is just setting that image card um, image card class and bottom, and then we're also going to have the card body, of course. So the card body is going to be there, which is just going to be somewhere there. Now below the card body, we're going to have the card title. So basically what we have here is just the same thing that we had before. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to grab this. Yeah, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take this up to somewhere there. Then I'm going to add it here. So we have learn piano, for example, and then instead of having by now, we're going to have remove from cart. So remove from cart, and then this checkout here, you're just going to have this, and then of course some dummy text. So basically that's what we have within the card there. So we have this title div, and then the row, and then the columns, and then the card. Yeah, and then you're going to close my div here. Okay, so that is what we have. So remove from cart, and then right. So that is what we have. Now here I can add as more cards as I wish to. So I'm going to add more cards. So here I'm going to add more cards like that. We just add 3 since we had 3 from our previous example. Okay, this one should be okay. So that is let me just push this one like that. Okay, so these are the cards that I'm having. So the cards that I'm having so far, so they are now before that. So the last one here, this one is going to have another div for the main container. So you're going to have that div there. Now there's something here we need to check. From the first example you saw, we had the checkout. So add total and checkout. Add total and checkout options here, checkout buttons that is. So we are going to have that, whereby I'm going to have a div. So I'm going to have that div. So the div as I'm going to set a row empty4, close that one. And then I'm going to have another div class, whereby I'm going to set this one column of medium screen, so 6 columns, and then I'm going to give them an offset of MD6. So offset is so that it can be fixed on the right side of my website, and also by setting the text to right like that. So that is what I'm having. So basically here I'm going to have the total there. So I'm going to have 99.99. So that is the amount, the total. Remember, when you have a backend, you can do this using your backend. So this is just a template to show you how you can go about it. And then here you're going to have a link to a particular page within your website. And of course, here we're going to set the btn primary like this, and then basically we're going to have the checkout. Put that one to caps. Yeah, so this is what we are having. So I need to close the one div there. So that is what I'm having. Let's just check and see. Yeah, so that is what we have. So we have the three cards as I'm having, as you can see them. And then we have the checkout, which now takes you to the checkout page. So it calculates the number of items that you have, and then it calculates the total, and then now it takes you to the checkout page. So lastly, what we have or what we need to make is the checkout page. Now the checkout page is this one here. Now under the checkout page, what we're going to do, I'm going to have a div class, which is going to have the container with MT5. And then here, I'm going to have the div. So I'm going to have a div there, which I'm going to give it a title container. So basically, this is just what we have. Is what we have here. So basically, let me just copy this. So that is what we have. So on my checkout page, this is what we have. So uh, only that here on the H1, I'm going to give it a class, and then the class is going to be text. It's going to be, sorry, this is going to be text sender with MB of 4. And then here we are going to, I'm going to set this one to, I'm going to set that one to checkout like that. Okay, so let's now begin. After setting that one, of course, now we need to begin to have some items, or we need now to proceed. So here I'm going to have a row in the Bootstrap grid system, and then I'm going to have a div. So the div class is going to be, it's going to be column of medium screen of 8, like that. Then here I'm going to have, so add product details. So add product details, I'm going to have a table. So I'm going to create a table just like you saw in my previous website. So table, this is going to be MB4. It's going to be MB4 like that. Then of course we close the table. Now within the table, the first thing we're going to have is the table header. So we are going to have the table head like that. So the table head, we are going to have the TR, the table row. Then within the table row, we are going to have, so this is what I'm going to have. So I'm going to have product. Under the product, I'm also going to have another table header within the same table head, which is for the price. So we have basically the table head, and then within the table head, we create a row. Remember the row are the left and right. So left, right, we are going to have that. Now below the table head, I'm going to have the T body. So that basically tells you now the body of our table. So what I'm going to have here, I'm going to also still to have the table row. Sorry, yeah, I don't know why. Okay, so let's, so the table row, okay, let it be that way. We're going to have the TD. TD is for the columns. So within the columns of this table, we are going to have a div class, which is going to be media, so that we can add a particular medium within this particular part of the section. So for example, I'm going to add this. Let me look for an image. So I think within the products, maybe having an image. Let's say go to index. So within the index, I'm going to take this one here. Where's the checkout page? So checkout, okay. So I'm going to have this. So this alt should be buzz guitar. And then since this is going to be displayed as once you select, it is displayed in a small, so I'm going to set an MR of 3 because it is being displayed in a small manner. So I'm going to have this, and then I'm going to have a style width. So after this, I'm going to give this a style, and then I'm going to give it a width. So the width is basically, so this is what we have. So this is what we have. Sorry, and then I'm having style width is of 75 pixels. Then I close it that way. So the style width 75 pixels, and then I close it that way. So we are going to look at this one in just a second. So after now implementing the adding that media, we are going to have this. Sorry, this is so this is what we have. So the image. So I'm going to set a div class with the media body. I am going to have an H. So here is going to be class of empty, and then this is going to be bus git, of course, because it is the one that is being displayed on that particular part there. And then basically once you are done with that one, you can also have a text in between, for example, which says learn bus guitar in 20 days. And then basically what you're going to have next there after giving this one, so we have the two divs, and then we have the column, which is now closing this part here. So after the column there, what I need to have there is I need to have another TD, which is going to give me the price of that particular product. And then now from there, I can add more rows as I would like. So we close this one, we close the T body, and then we close the table. Now the next part here I'm going to have is the shipping and payment options. So for example, if you want to of course you'll want to have maybe a shipping. That's why you saw from my end we had that. So so I'm going to have this. So I'm going to have this. Um, so before we add that one, let me just add something here. So this one is, so what I'm having here is, so uh, add shipping and payment options like that. So adding the shipping and payment options is now what you're going to do with this H2. So this H2 should be able to do that for us. So here we are going to have uh, shipping information like that. And basically within the shipping information, we are going to have a form, and this form is going to take a div class or form group, a clause, and then within the form we have a label. Then the label is going to be the label form. You need to close that one that way. So the label is for the, of course, the name, and like that. And then next we're going to have is an input. So you're going to have input type. So the input type is text with the class. So class is form control. So the form control, and then of course we have the ID, which should be name, and then a placeholder, which should say enter your name. Okay, so that is what we have under the input. Enter your name, and then we close the div. Now, once we are done with that one, we also need to go for another one. So the next one is the address, of course, and I'm not going to type again, so I'm just going to copy that one. So here we are going to have the address. Sorry, so this should not be. So we are going to have address, and then of course here we are going to change this one to enter your address, and of course the ID has to be addressed like that. So that is what we are having there. And then we also have city as well. So I'm also going to have for city. And also there's also another one I'm having. So name, address. So the next one is city. So the placeholder here is going to be city. So this one is going to have enter your city like that. And the next one is going to be your state. Remember, this one is when somebody is filling out your contact form. So this one is going to be enter your state. Okay, so what else do we have? We also have another one for the zip code and the payment method. So here we have a zip code, and the placeholder here should be, now this one should be state. Just forgotten. Should be state. This one should be, zip, and here it should say enter your zip code. So that is the placeholder that is going to be there. Now we are done with that one. Now the next part here we are going to have is H2, and this H2 is going to have the payment um, method that the person would like to use within your website. So here we have div class like that, and then here we have form check, which basically is just checking out what the person wants to use. And of course here we are using the radio button and so forth. So the input class here is going to have form check. So the form check, and then cause the input, and then the type is radio. the name we're going to set here is going to be payment, and then the ID is the credit. So the ID is the credit, and then the value there you can see. So the value is going to be credit, well, and then here it's going to have the checked. Yeah, so that is what we have under the payment on the first part. So remember, we are creating a sort of a pick, which is called in the form check, of course. So the person will pick each parts that he needs. Okay, so here we have the form check again. So here we have the form check input. So form check should not be input. This time it will be label. So the form check is the label, and then the label here is the for, that is which equals to the credit, and then that way. So under the label here, you're going to give is the credit. So the person chooses to pay through credit. So that is what we are going to give out there. Now, after implementing that, we're going to add a PayPal, and then we're going to place the order. So here, after the credit card, and then the label, and then the div, we are going to have another form check here. So we are going to have another form check here under the div. So here we are going to have form check. So the form check is going to be, so that is what we have, and then we're going to have input type, and then the radio input type class. So let me just copy this one. So the input type is okay, so sorry, should be this one. Let me copy this one. It's the one that matches with what we are doing here. So here I'm going to have that one. So the form check is input, and then the type is going to be radio. The name is payment, and then the ID here we are going to set it to be PayPal, and then the value is going to be PayPal here. Hope I'm not repeating anything. Okay. Yeah, I didn't. That should be it. So that is PayPal, and then okay. So let's go to the next part. So we are going to set the label. So the label here we are going to have class. So class is form check input. So form check label. Sorry, because we are on the label side. So form check label, and then the for, which is equals to like that. So we are closing. Now we have not checked up to there. It's good for us to check. Okay, so that is what we have so far. That is what we have so far. Yeah, so that is what we have. So let me just continue. We have the payment method, we have the zip code, and so forth. So basically next what we have is the, after closing the label, we have this one here. We also have another div here. So what I'm having here is that I'm going to have a form group. So the form group is having the MT4, which is that one. Now this part is a button which now says place your order for, this case. So I'm having a button type. So this button type is submit, and then you're going to set the class of the btn. So btn, btn, and then large. Then you're going to set the btn block. Then here I'm going to have place order. Okay, so that is what we have so far. So I'm going to have that. Then okay, so now that one, as you can see, should be this one here now. So the person is going to place the order. So that's what it should have here. So that's what we are having. So the next part here that I'm going to have is an order summary. So the order summary is what the person has selected, and then now once he chooses the product he has chosen, so he's now presented with a summary. So I'm going to have a div, and then this div is going to have a column as of four. It's going to have 4 columns in the medium screen. So I want to have this in the yes, should be that way. So here I'm going to have, so here I'm going to add order summary, which is going to be like that. So adding the order summary, we are going to have order. So we have summary within this code. Okay. Okay. So that is order summary. And then here, so here is going to consist of a table. So we have a table class, which equals to table, sorry, table with MB 4. Then close that like that. So within the table, we are going to have the T body. So the T body is going to have the table row, which is the left and right. And then we are going to have the columns. We're going to have the columns, which is the top bottom. So we're going to have the first one, which is subtotal, and then we're going to have like that. So this one is just summarizing for you what we have so far. So that is the first one that we are having. So we are having this as the first part. We're also going to have another one there. So this one calculates the subtotal, and then it adds the shipping as well. So uh, you could be charging the shipping. So the shipping here is 99.99, and then basically after that we are going to have the total calculated. So after this we have the total. So this total, when you add them up, they should give you 109.98. Okay, so that is it. So the T body to close, and then lastly, you may also want to add a promo code. For example, if the before that, let's just check what we have. So we have this, the order summary, shipping, and then the total like that. You may also want to add the a promo code. So a promo code, so add a promo code form. So you can add something like H3. Then you have the add the promo code, which is going to be form like that. It's just going to be a form, and then the div class, and then the form group. So the form group, you're having an input which type, like that, of text, the class of form control. And then we are going to have the ID, which is just going to have promo code like that, and then basically a placeholder, which is going to say uh, enter promo code. Okay, now once that is done, you can close that div from that point there. And now basically, we are going to have a button to enable the person to show button type, and then the submit, so the person can submit the promo code. So that so the button is basically the BTN primary. Okay, so we close and then place and apply. So it's going to work that out. So basically we can just check and see. So this is it. And then this is how the form is looking. Okay, so you can see there's an issue with this footer here, and the reason should be so we need to have this one. There's a div for the container, remember, for the container from top, and there's also now the two divs that just closed them. So there's a div for the container. So remember we have in this, and then we have eight columns whereby we add the product details, such as now this what you saw here, and then this is 8 and this is 4. So the 8 takes all this up to this part, and then the 4 columns here are the ones now that take this rest of this place. So hope you get the idea. So that is it. So that is what we are having. So this is easy to do, I believe. So you just need to follow up. I believe we are done with the website. So we have the home, you have the products for the cards, we have our nice looking about us, and then we have the contact page, and basically the other one we have is we have the card page, and then basically the last one is, now this website you can implement it in a backend. For example, you can use whichever language you know, PHP, Laravel, um, Java, Python, Django. So you can use to implement this and create your own e-commerce website. So this is just a starter template for you to get started with creating an e-commerce website, something that is similar. Remember, this is all aided by the use of Bootstrap that we have been able to create. Now, if you need to understand more of this, I've already published this course on, sorry, not course, but the post. I've already made a post on creating how to create an e-commerce website. My internet is off. Okay, so this is the post. You may want to follow it out if you are unable to follow the tutorial. So all the code is here. Remember to like my Facebook page as well, which is here. Um, yeah, so remember to like my Facebook page, which should be somewhere here, which is this one that is loading. So guys, let's meet in the next uh, tutorial. Let's meet in the next tutorial.